Chapter 69. The Air Assault Division, led by Major General Farage, had appeared with 100 airships. Ah, Farage, you've finally arrived. So, I guess this means checkmate. This is the perfect stage for a test run of the top-secret weapon, Magic Canceller, isn't it? Haha, I can't compete against you, Gastardono. Without a moment's delay, we will also now join the battle. I'll share the credit with you. Don't make any mistakes, okay? Understood. Then, best of luck. By using a special line of communication, Gastar and Farage agreed to work together. For Gastar, this was to make the strategy rock solid. For Farage, the purpose was to warm up before the main show, and to demonstrate that they could be useful in actual battles. The Air Assault Division had a precious weapon called an airship, but their position was the lowest among the three divisions. Thus, it was necessary to prove their worth. A person stared at Gabil's group with ruthless eyes. The leader of the Jewel of the Armored Corps, Air Assault Division, Major General Farage. He was a talented man with comparable ambitions. His desire to further his military career was not unique among the other officers. Nonetheless, Farage thoroughly flattered other colleagues since he was eager not to earn their ire. There was an explanation behind this, of course. He had experienced how his old home, the Magic Corps, had ended. He wanted the Air Assault Division to one day become the strongest. Until that happened, Farage thought to make sure his colleagues were in a good mood and kept a low profile for himself. He had always been a self-disciplined person. Then finally, the perfect opportunity appeared, Operation Subjugate Veldora. And, at the heart of it all stood the Air Assault Division. The essence of the mission was to contain Veldora using the Magic Canceller. Besides that, they would also assist other troops. Their original role was to provide logistical support, but they were excused from that job this time. In fact, 300 of the 400 airships were on different missions, and the remaining 100 were filled to the brim with elite magicians. It was a configuration centered solely on combat, which demonstrated how crucial the operation's success was to Calgurio. Farage was well aware of the fact that this mission needed to be carried out at all costs. This is where we will distinguish ourselves and prove our usefulness. A new era is about to begin. Farage chuckled to himself. And if that was the case, there was no need to take heed of the other officers' feelings anymore. With their positions reversed, no one would be able to ignore Farage's wishes. He had no doubt that this was his destiny. Those flying lizards and crawling dogs aren't nearly enough of a warm-up before defeating Veldora, but that's fine, Farage pondered. We'll simply use them as practice for our new weapon. What do you want to share the credit for? I'm the one who owes you a favor, Gastardono. Farage shouted loudly while holding a glass of wine. Everyone, we've been patiently enduring everything up until this point, but that ends today. Let's show them our true power. Yeah, the crew members shouted enthusiastically. Although they were originally elite magicians, they couldn't bear the reality of experiencing hardships. The humiliation they suffered would be wiped away by the glory days that began now. Everyone felt the same way. With that common belief running through their mind, the 100 airships strengthened their effort. The biggest feature of the airship was the Magic Canceller generator, but it was also equipped with state-of-the-art weaponry. It was controlled by mages versed in elemental and summoning magic. The makeup of the airship was roughly divided into 3 departments: the operations, defense, and offensive. 100 men were assigned to each of them, and the remaining 100 were held in reserve, where they worked on communication and medical affairs. Needless to say, the operations department operated the airship. A minimum of 50 people were required to fly the ship, but even 100 personnel was insufficient if they wanted to operate the craft at full strength. The defense department was in charge of the airships, defense barrier, and dealt with a variety of attacks such as anti-physics, anti-magic, and anti-element. The hull of the ship was kept thin in order to save weight. If they neglected to defend the airship with reinforcement magic, then they could easily be shot down. They were a critical department. Last was the offensive department, the star of the show. One of the weapons installed on the airship was the magic amplifying cannon, and this also served to facilitate cooperation between magicians. Multiple magicians could supply the mana orb on the pedestal with their mana at the same time. By chanting magic simultaneously, they could control powerful magic rather easily. There was a total of 5 magic amplifying cannons, 1 located in the front and 2 on either side of the ship, with a maximum number of 10 mages per gun awaiting orders. Substitute magicians were located in seats behind so that the cannon could be fired continuously. It was worth noting that the power of the cannon increased in proportion to the number of users. For instance, if 2 people powered it, then it was 4 times stronger. Thus, if 10 mages operated it consecutively, then the output would increase by a factor of 20. The airship's defenses were flawless. The wyvern's fireballs were like spitballs, and the barrier even prevented any attacks from hitting the body. Half-baked attacks didn't work, and that satisfied Farage. Furthermore, its offensive capabilities. Airships are the strongest of them all. It's time to show your true potential. Swat those unsightly lizards out of the sky with maximum power. Farage passionately appealed. So far, only 2 or 3 mages on each cannon had been chanting magic. But the time for tests was over. The real show was about to begin. The magic amplifying cannon was activated by channeling mana into a spell-controlled jewel. The jewel was about 50 centimeters in diameter and made of high-purity magic stone. The magicians who had been standing idly by now held out their hands and, with the combined might of 10 people, unleashed large-scale magic. Lightning, ice, snow, flames, vacuum blades, and other terrifying magic blasted into the sky with a tremendous power 20 times greater than normal. Listen up, everybody. Training time is over, let's begin the carnage. Gabil proclaimed the orders with confidence, even though he had no idea that Rimuru was actually worried about their training. His teammates got up excitedly, and Gabil continued enthusiastically. Yes, I'm not gonna disobey our general's orders. Yeah, Gabil-sama, we hear your order. Gabil heard that and gave a satisfied nod. He then glanced at the Empire's Air Assault Division, and proceeded to ask his men loudly. You guys, I ask you, who are the rulers of the sky? We are, they hear you. Gabil's aura became more serious, which prompted his soldiers to do the same. Exactly. Those who dare to dirty our sky must be killed. That is what Rimuru-sama wants. This is a decree from Rimuru-sama, so let's do our best. Let's fight like there's no tomorrow. Yes sir. Show them the might of the Dragonutes. Can you guys take down the enemies one by one? Yes. Good, so let's go. With Gabil's orders, the Hiryu immediately took action. Hiryu have evolved into a group of powerful Dragonutes with existence value just under 200k. They have also gained skills like dragon skins and magic resistance thanks to Gabil's Harvest Festival, and now their skins are even stronger than the shield made of Charybdis scales. They immediately charged towards the airships with their strengthened bodies. In the blink of an eye, the barriers were broken, and they stormed the ships. 5 teams went in and attacked any Imperial personnel they saw. In no time, the Air Assault Division was eliminated. Gabil shouted happily, "Gahahahaha, our siege is going great. Those who couldn't sink an airship will just have to learn from this, right?" Major General Farage was shocked at what he saw in front of him. The airships were sky fortresses that prided themselves on being heavily protected by barriers managed by elite mages. And now, one of such seemingly invincible crafts had just sunk due to a single hit from a monster. According to the Imperial Intelligence Agency's investigations, it appeared to be a rare species called Dragonute. They were said to have the fighting power of a humanoid dragon, but the one that was in front of him seemed on an entirely different level. Is that guy a monster? Was the information that the intelligence agency sent me meaningless? What happened? Farage asked his lieutenant. The lieutenant also appeared confused by the disparity between the intel they were given and what was happening before them. Sorry. According to the report from the staff who measured the energy output of the enemy monsters, they have even surpassed the energy level of an archdragon. Quote, what, you mean, Calamity-class threats? And are you also trying to say that they are also fully immune against magic? Farage shouted, how can a newly appointed demon lord have an army of Calamity-class monsters serving under him? Intelligence department didn't tell us anything. I don't want to admit it, but looking at the situation, it's the only possible explanation. Our magical attacks aren't working, but these monsters are attacking and bringing our airships, our pride, to the ground. What about the leading individual? What is his status? Quote. It. More than 10 times the others, a staff member hesitantly said. Sir. What should we do now? If we don't hurry, our airship unit will be wiped out. Maximize the magic canceller and direct it towards those monsters. No matter how strong they are, as long as they are monsters. We won't lose against them. Upon Farage's order, they pointed it towards Gabil and his team. It began to show effects on Hiryu, but Gabiru was still not affected by it that much. Why is that individual not showing any sign of stopping? Maximize the canceller, what are you doing? Quote, we are already at the maximum capacity. It looks like canceller has an upper limit and that individual is beyond it. All Hiryu members have stopped their onslaught and are unable to move, but Gabiru was unaffected by it. Gabiru after his evolution has reached a level beyond the magic cancellers. His existence value is around 1.9 million and he could internally produce magicules. Why didn't we have any information about that monster? How do you deal with him? If this goes on, my airship division will be destroyed. Don't tell me that individual is Storm Dragon Veldora. Yes, that's right, the true dragon. Quote, yes, you are right, sir. That's why its energy surpassed even Archdragon with around 10 times. It's definitely him, otherwise how can a new demon lord have such powerful subordinates? Quote, yes, that's the truth. As Farage and his subordinates were trying to escape reality, Gabil vortex crash destroyed the last remaining airship and his crew crash landed on the ground after a huge explosion. Farage opened his eyes and saw lifeless bodies of his crew between the destroyed airships. How did this happen? Where did I got wrong? Farage began to question his discussions. That's right, it's that evil dragon Veldora fault. He was the one responsible for this. I will kill you, but how even our airships was not enough. I need power, more power. You need power. Then I will give you. Destroy that evil dragon and monster nation Tempest. They are the ones responsible for all of this. We must eliminate them, they are the threats to humanity. I have chosen you the hero of the humanity, you must eliminate them. Quote, yes, give me more power. I want it. I will destroy those monsters and show them their place. Farage heard a voice in his head. It was a divine voice without any emotions, any malice. It feels like some divine being have heard his plead. Heavens have not forsaken me. Take this, you monsters, I will show you the strength of humanity. Farage feels like he have gained boundless strength and energy is flowing through every inch of his body. His military dress also evolved with him and reached mythical grade. His existence value has surpassed 2 millions. He fired a massive energy blast capable of engulfing cities at Gabil. Gabil was quick to saw it and escaped from its path. With a roar, Farage surged forward, his fist glowing with destructive energy. He moved with speed 10 times faster than sound. With a spin of his spear, Gabil unleashed a concentrated blast of pressurized water. The attack collided with Farage's fist, creating a shockwave that rippled through the atmosphere. He released a pulse of energy that shattered the water blast, forcing Gabil to retreat several meters. Not wasting a second, Farage raised both hands and unleashed a volley of crimson energy blasts, each one capable of leveling a city. Gabil's spear hummed with power as he began spinning it rapidly, forming a barrier of swirling water around him. The energy blasts impacted the barrier, creating explosions that illuminated the sky. Gabil gritted his teeth as the force pushed him back, but he maintained the barrier, the water absorbing and dispersing the destructive energy. Impressive, Farage said, his tone mocking. But let's see how long you can keep up. He vanished in a burst of speed, reappearing behind Gabil with a devastating punch aimed at his back. Gabil's instincts kicked in. Twisting his body midair, he redirected the vortex spear to intercept the punch. The spear's tip glowed as it absorbed the kinetic energy, transferring it into a wave of water that spiraled outward. The wave threw Farage off balance for a split second, giving Gabil an opening. He thrust the spear forward, the tip releasing a concentrated jet of water at near supersonic speed. The jet struck Farage's chest, forcing him back with a grunt. However, the general's armor-like skin absorbed much of the impact. With a growl, Farage slammed his fists together, creating a shockwave that disrupted the surrounding air. He followed up by summoning a massive sphere of energy between his hands. Let's see you handle this. Farage hurled the sphere downward. It grew in size as it descended, threatening to obliterate everything below. The sheer gravitational force of the attack distorted the air, pulling Gabil toward it. Gabil's eyes narrowed. Not on my watch. He pointed his spear downward, channeling its energy. The water around him condensed into a focused spiral at the spear's tip. With a mighty thrust, he launched the spiral upward, meeting the energy sphere head-on. The collision created a cataclysmic explosion that temporarily blinded both combatants and illuminated the battlefield for miles. As the light faded, Gabil reappeared, his armor scorched but his resolve intact. Farage, meanwhile, looked even angrier. His aura flared wildly, the sky darkening as his power reached new heights. You're more resilient than I expected, Farage admitted, his voice laced with grudging respect. But this ends now. Farage's body began to glow brighter, his muscles bulging as he unleashed his full power. He raised his hands to the sky, gathering energy for an attack that would dwarf anything he'd used so far. The ground below began to tremble, cracks forming as the sheer pressure of his energy disrupted the Earth's stability. Gabil knew he couldn't allow the attack to complete. Summoning every ounce of his power, he activated the Vortex Spear's ultimate technique. The spear began to glow, drawing water from the atmosphere and even the ground below. The water spiraled upward, forming a massive dragon-shaped vortex around Gabil. "This ends here, vortex crash," Gabil shouted, his voice echoing through the vortex. Farage unleashed his attack, a beam of concentrated energy that cut through the sky with the force of a natural disaster. The beam met the water dragon head-on, and for a moment, it seemed like the two forces were evenly matched. Gabil's ultimate gift Mood Maker Spear amplified the water dragon's power using unexpected manipulation, its spiraling motion disrupting the cohesion of Farage's beam. Slowly but surely, the dragon pushed forward, its jaws opening wide. With a final roar, the dragon engulfed Farage's attack and slammed into the general himself. Farage's roar of defiance was drowned out by the sound of rushing water as the dragon's force carried him downward, slamming him into the ground with an impact that shook the battlefield. When the dust cleared, Farage lay in a massive crater, his body battered and his aura flickering weakly. Gabil descended slowly, his spear still glowing faintly. He pointed it at Farage, his expression grim. Farage coughed, a mixture of blood and energy escaping his lips. "You humans are useless. Despite giving you power capable of destroying entire Jura forest, you can't even control it. I am taking it back." As he heard the voice, energy began to escape Farage's body and his body disintegrated. "Hey, what happened?" Gabil was shocked by the sudden turn of events. Not only Farage but souls from all dead soldiers started accumulating in a spherical object floating in the air. With a loud explosion, the cocoon burst open and magma began to pour out of it. Its shockwave was so strong that entire Jura forest felt its impact. The end.